Late in the third, here's SGA sinking a triple. OKC up big. They go on to win 128-110 and are officially the 1 seed in the West for the third straight season. CBS Sports NBA analyst John Gonzalez joining me now. John, the Thunder clinched the 1 seed in the West for the third straight season. How confident are you that they can run it back in the West?
I'm confident that they're going to be one of the teams right there because the competition is stiffer, right? But man, what another great season for them, the third straight year where they end up winning the Western Conference. And again, the competition is so fierce in the Western Conference that you really have to give them credit because, you know, they started out 24-1 and a lot of us thought, hey, maybe they can go and break that Golden State Warriors record of 73 wins in a season. Then they came back to the pack a little bit. The Spurs ascended a little bit, but they ended up holding off the Spurs, holding off the Denver Nuggets, who are super hot right now. And all credit to OKC and what they've done. I mean, yet again, the best defense in the NBA, top 10 offense in the NBA, the best point differential in the NBA. Last year, you'll remember that they set the NBA record for the best point differential in NBA history. Well, guess what? It's almost about the same as it was last year. And so now they're locked into that 1 seed. They can take the rest of the week off. It'll be probably well over a week until these starters play again once the playoffs start, so they can rest up a little bit. And look, they didn't make the finals 2 years ago when they locked up the 1 seed. They won the finals last year, and that's their goal again, right? They've got the reigning MVP and reigning finals MVP in SGA, and they want to run that championship back. So they're going to be one of those teams right there with the Spurs and the Nuggets. And if they can get out of that West, I really like their chances.
I mean, you just said it. The rest of the West is fierce. The Nuggets are hot. And they are sitting at the 3 seed. Now, they're on a 10-game win streak. What do you think of their outlook in the West with just how they've been playing lately?
Yeah, I've been all over the Nuggets all season long. About midway through the year, I picked them to come out of the West, and then they were just felled by all these injuries, right? 4 of their 5 starters, including Nikola Jokic, missed huge chunks of time, along with Christian Brown, Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon. Then Peyton Watson, who'd been sort of a role player, stepped up, and he looked like he was a key contributor. Then he goes down with a hamstring injury. He comes back. He goes out again. Right now, they're about as healthy as they've been all season. And part of the reason why they've been able to weather all these injuries is because not only did they get Joker back, and he's probably going to finish third in the MVP race, even though I think he's the best player in the world, but Jamal Murray has been unbelievable this year. First time he's ever made All-Star. He's going to be All-NBA. And this is really the deepest team they've had around Nikola Jokic. You mentioned that they've won 10 in a row. That's the longest streak that they've had since 2013. Which also means that's the longest streak of the Joker era. So right now they look like they're locked into that third spot. They're 1.5 games up on the Rockets and Lakers. Yes, they still have to play Oklahoma City and the Spurs, but as we mentioned, Oklahoma City already locked out that one, probably not going to play their starters. Spurs could be in that same situation by the time they get around to playing the Nuggets. So if I'm the Minnesota Timberwolves and I'm looking at a 3-6 matchup with the red hot, almost fully healthy Denver Nuggets, I'm not really loving that, despite the fact that the Wolves have gone to back-to-back Western Conference championships. But as we mentioned, the West is super loaded, so the Nuggets are still going to have to prove it in the playoffs.
I mean, you said it, the longest streak since 2013. That is crazy. Okay, we have to talk about, though, Cade Cunningham finally back on the floor tonight after missing 11 games with a collapsed lung. What did you think of his play tonight?
I thought he looked great, right? I mean, they're locked into that 1 seed. They've got the 3rd best record overall in the NBA after Oklahoma City and the Spurs. And a lot of people, myself included, thought that when he went down, this is going to be tough because sometimes their offense can be a grind. They're a great defensive team. But without Cade Cunningham, you think, okay, well, where are they going to get offense from? He misses 11 games with a collapsed lung in a year when he's having an all-NBA caliber season and a top 5 MVP season, even though he's not going to qualify because of the stupid 65-game threshold. Well, guess what? The Pistons are a bunch of tryhards. This period where he was out, all of a sudden it kind of rallied them around each other, right? Where they go 8-3 without him. Really, the record was 9-3 because he only played 5 minutes in that game when he was injured. Could have been 10-2 because they almost beat Oklahoma City in overtime, which absolutely nobody does. And when you look at their points per game, their opponents' points per game over that stretch when Cade Cunningham was out, their 3-point percentage, their opponents' 3-point percentage, all the numbers were very, very similar with and without Cade Cunningham. So yes, this is kind of a flawed team because they don't have a bunch of shooting, but just the way that they get their wins about just dominating in the paint, playing great defense, everybody knowing their roles. And now you get Cade Cunningham back right before the postseason. Jalen Duren's taken that leap. Asar Thompson could make all NBA defense. JB Bickerstaff has done such a great job with this group. And so for Cade to come back tonight, play 26 minutes, look like himself, have a double-double, 13 points and 10 assists with 5 rebounds. He was playing great defense. I've loved the Pistons all season long. I really like them now that they've got Cade Cunningham back and they're cruising going into the playoffs.
I love you calling them all tryhards because Cunningham fits that bill with a double-double in his first game since March 9th. Okay, let's talk about Cooper Flagg because we must, and the way that he has been playing lately. Do you feel as though Flagg has done enough to overtake Con Knippel for that Rookie of the Year?
It's really close, right? And for a while there, it looked like it was Con Knippel's to lose, and I think he might have. And it's not his fault, right? Con Knippel set a franchise record for threes as a rookie, which is absolutely outrageous. His shooting numbers are so efficient. But Cooper Flagg lately, as you mentioned, has been playing so well. And every time we talk about him, you end up saying something like he's the first teenager to do X. He's the first teenager to do Y or Z, because he's just setting all these records. And it's really wild. And especially because he got off to such a slow start to the season where they didn't have Kyrie Irving. They didn't have Anthony Davis for injury purposes. And now he obviously plays in Washington. They had no guard help around him whatsoever. They basically just shoved him into the deep end and said, sink or float. And he sunk for a second, and then he started to float. And then the numbers really started to get there, and he's been excellent recently. And you have to remind yourself that he's only 19, right, where he's putting up these eye-popping numbers. Now, he wasn't great tonight against the Suns. These things sometimes happen, but he has exploded over the last month where he had a 51-point game, a 45-point game. And then on top of that, he rebounds. He's an excellent passer. He's awesome on the break and transition. And here's the separation, I think, between him and Con Knippel. It's defense, right? There's very few matchups that he can't handle on the court at 19 years old where you go, I'm pretty much, if I'm Jason Kidd, comfortable switching him 1 through 5, which is just so rare. And it's absolutely unprecedented at his age. So great season for Con Knippel. He's an elite shooter. The Charlotte Hornets are playing with house money. He was actually the betting favorite up until like a week and a half ago, and then it kind of flipped. So I think Flagg is now the favorite. If I had a vote, I'd be voting for him, and I think he's going to win.
Okay, I like that prediction. And I mean, yeah, defense can be that difference maker. Thank you, John, as always, for the insight. We appreciate it. All right, and here are the shortest odds to win the NBA Finals. Looking at all of them, the Thunder with only plus 115, and then you got the Rockets on the other end of that shtick, plus 5,000. But hey, anything could happen, am I right?
This is Freshpet. This is Hank.